Hello. Ooh, hi. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy to welcome you here tonight. My name is Caroline Kelger. I am Executive Director for Opera Maine, and I have the pleasure of sharing with you a little bit about how this evening's program came to be. So when Opera Maine decided that we were going to present the opera Bound for our studio artist production, we knew right away that we wanted to find a way to connect with the Maine Asian American community around us. And so we began to look at what organizations that we already were friends with and how we could bring people together to share Bound with them. And we learned about the Maine Asian American Community Center and their efforts right now, led by Marfine Shan, to build a center in Westbrook, which they're working hard to raise funds for and do. And they turned out to be the perfect partner. Marfine introduced us to Joshua Hsu, who's helping to lead tonight's conversation. And Joshua is really the creative force, a wonderful creative force at the Maine Asian American Community Center. And we're so fortunate to have so many talented artists here for this special production. And we hope that you will come back tomorrow at 7:30 or Sunday at 2:30, right where you are here at Portland Stage, to see the full opera Bound. We will be featuring a scene from it this evening, along with some other music. And you don't have a program or bios, but tonight really is about sharing and getting to know some of these artists and this story a little bit better. So you'll be getting to know folks throughout the evening. I also want to be sure to share with you that we also have our main stage production at Merrill Auditorium at the end of July. That will be Romeo and Juliet. We hope you'll return in the end of July. There are materials in the lobby that tell you about tomorrow's production as well as July's production. And let's see here. I want to give special thanks to Portland Stage, who has allowed us to open up the theater for you all this evening. And if you feel moved by the end of the night to make a donation, those donations will go to offset the costs of this evening's event. And we're so grateful to have you all with us. And now I am very pleased to introduce Joshua Hsu, who will be leading this evening's conversations. Thank you all for being here.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm Joshua Hsu. I'm the founder of Forge Theater Labs, and I'm also on the steering committee for Maine Asian American Community Center. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and thank you to Portland Stage, Opera Maine, and everyone who helped make this evening possible. We're especially honored to welcome Vanessa Võ and director Richard Gammon as we begin to explore Bound tonight. An opera, for those of you who don't know, inspired by the true story of Diane Tran, a Vietnamese-American high school student who was arrested for truancy while working to support her family. And I believe Huang Ruo might be joining us tonight, who wrote the music as well. At the Maine Asian American Community Center, we often say that visibility leads to engagement. When stories are seen and heard, they create understanding, and understanding builds empathy. Empathy inspires relationships, and relationships strengthen communities. For many years, Asian American stories in Maine have been underrepresented, not because they don't exist, but because too often they haven't had a platform. That's why we're building Maine's first Asian American Community Center, not simply as a building, but as a home for culture, connection, and community. It will bring together organizations providing citizenship and immigration support, translation services, workforce development, English language classes, small business incubation, cultural programming, and spaces where people from all backgrounds, not just Asian backgrounds, can gather, learn, and celebrate together. Over the next several years, you'll see MAACC continue to expand public programming like tonight's event, partnering with arts organizations, schools, cultural institutions, and communities across Maine to elevate Asian American voices and create opportunities for meaningful dialogue. We believe the arts are one of the most powerful ways that understanding can occur because they allow us not just to learn someone else's story, but to engage together. Tonight is a wonderful example of that mission in action. And so our evening will begin with a conversation with Vanessa Võ, followed by a musical demonstration of the Dan Bao and Dan Tran, a discussion with director Richard Gammon about Making of Bound, and a short performance from the opera itself with some Q&A and closing remarks. If you're sitting in the front row and you're able to sit a little bit further back, you'll probably get a better view of Vanessa, so we encourage you to sort of step back. Usually we tell people to move forward, but we just wanted to let you know. Thank you again for being here, and please join me in welcoming Vanessa Võ to the stage. Welcome, Vanessa. Please have a seat. For audience members who are meeting you and your music for the first time, how would you introduce yourself and the musical traditions that shaped you?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for being here tonight. It means a lot for me to be here for many reasons. And before I answer your questions, please let me share with all of you that when I heard when Caroline contacted me and say that this production that they will have the student singer and singers who will one day become a big star, then I said that I all in for it because I really love to do what for the futures. So what shaped my musical path is that I play all the Vietnamese traditional instruments, but then I also play I give myself a mission that I want to share the beauty of Vietnam culture and Vietnamese cultures, and to also use music to bridge cultures and take everyone to a journey to the lands that you might not have been there.
Absolutely. I hear that all the time about, traditional musical instruments. So you began studying Vietnamese music at a young age. What first drew you to these instruments? Was it family? How did you get, connected with these instruments?
Yeah, so I was born after the Vietnam War, which is, we call it American War in Vietnam. So, and my father, during the war, he was forced to enlist to the Northern Army. I'm from Hanoi. But my father didn't really like the idea of holding gun, shooting people. So he signed up as a musician. He could play guitar at the time, but it was very terrible. But he got away with it. And then he got into the army, play music for the troop. His risk, though, that he and his bandmate had to go into the battlefield right after the two sides finished shooting and cheered all the shoulder up by playing music. And he saw that his bandmate got shot by a sniper. And so after the war, he did not go all the way to the end of it. Then he was released and he came back, and then I was born. And my father actually signed up for the Conservatory of Music. At the time, it was only 3 years of training because he actually had talent in music. And then when I was 4 years old, he taught me how to read music and sing music notation. And at 6 years old, he asked me to learn the cello, which at the time, everything from the West was much better. But then as a 6-year-old girl, I thought that the cello looked quite ugly because I have to open like this and then, So, yeah. So then one day I saw that there's a lady in the neighborhood because everyone around us was artists of all kinds. So the government put everyone who works the same thing, the same area together. So we had an artist living quarter. So then I saw a lady who played the dan chang, which you will see later on, that my first instrument. And I thought that it was so beautiful, feminine, and just that. And I start with it. And by the time that I knew, then I have been with the instrument for 46 years. And it helps me to share my feeling, to tell story of the community, to bridge people, to share the differences, to influence and be influencers. And also is the reason that I am here today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. I find that, there are so many instruments in our life that sort of build meaning and build connection and have history there. I do want to highlight that you often bring traditional Vietnamese instruments into many contemporary settings. Mm-hmm. How do you think about honoring tradition while also creating something new as you do so?
Yes, so how many of you here know about the master apprentice system? Yeah, so basically for some of you who don't know, if you have a master's and you are apprentice, pretty much you have to do whatever the masters tell you to do. And in Vietnam, if you are not a children of the masters, you are not accepted to learn that art. And I am not. I'm just the daughter of my father and mother. And so, but then when I was about 12 years old, I was in the Conservatory of Music, learning traditional Vietnamese instruments, but something was missing. I didn't know what it was. And then I figured out that there was so many music genres. I learned the folk songs and I couldn't understand. And I wanted to know why and what and where did it come from? Why this song is just about a tree? I don't understand why it's about a tree. But then it turned out that it's all about the traditions that lie behind that, those folk songs and those genres. And that answer was only could come from the masters. So we have many masters who play different kind of music genres in Vietnam. We have 54 ethnic groups in Vietnam from three main regions, North, Central, and South of Vietnam. So there's so many instruments and music genres in Vietnam. So eventually I found one master, the first master, and then I came to ask him that if he could teach me. And he said, no. Yeah, but he didn't tell me that I couldn't come to his house though. So then I came to his house almost every other day, and I just sit there. He plays music with his friends, who also was other master on different instruments. And I sit there, and then I saw whatever. I literally became an in-house slave. I swept the floor. I ran errands. I did everything. And 3 years after that, my master said that he would teach me because he saw that how much that I wanted to learn, and I really serious about it. The beautiful things about it was after he accepted me, then he introduced me. He first treated me as his own child. And then he introduced me to 5 other masters so that I did not need to take every 3 years, 3 years for each master. So I was very fortunately have 6 masters to study different music genres. And then one day I shared with my master that what I learned was for me to understand the roots, the traditional roots and culture behind it, but I want to continue to preserve the traditional music in a way of developing it. Can I get their blessing to use what I learned to build what I think that it's speak more relevant to my generation and to the time that I am at now? And very lucky that they said that, yes, go and do it. And so then I start to work with Western musicians because I could find so many similarity in the music. here, for example, like when I came here moved here in 2001, I met some jazz musicians, and they told me that Vân-Ánh Vanessa just take the instrument here to jam with us. Yeah, and then my English at the time is just very little, and I couldn't understand anything. I only know traffic jams. What do you do with music? And then they said, okay, then we do improv. And that even was bigger word for me. And I told them that, you know what, I will bring my instrument to join, to meet all of you. And you go ahead and play, and I will listen and see what I can do. And it turned out that jazz is just like my own traditional music. When I learned with my master, as soon as I learned the song, I had to do my own version. I couldn't make it. I couldn't play exactly like my master did. So then, from there, I find a way to find the similarity, and I find a way to bring the sound of my instrument closer to Western instrument and bring the Western instrument closer to my instruments. And then I also, in my 20 years something I have been here, I met beautiful composer like Huang Ruo, who's composed beautiful music, but has such an open mind that allow me to insert what I know, what I can contribute to create something new that is, you will have to come tomorrow to see it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love this sort of idea because I grew up starting with music first before I entered into theater. And I found with music that sometimes there's a power to music that can reach people before words do. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something beautiful about being able to sort of enter in improvisational space and be able to communicate with others without using words to sort of communicate that idea. So I ask you, in a room like this, with people coming from different communities and experiences, what do you hope music can help us hear in one another?
I think that's the most important thing that I see, that even though I don't know a lot, but what I do know is that music helps me to share the differences. And also it helps me to learn the differences from other people. And once I can share, once people know about my differences, and once I understand other people's differences, I find a way to work with them. I find a way to talk to them. I find a way to find the best solution that works for everyone. So then I find a way to avoid to avoid conflict. That's it. It's not unnecessary or necessary conflict. There's no necessary conflict. It's just once the music helped me to share the differences and learn about other people's differences, then I can find a way to be more harmonized, to be more in tune with others and help each other. So that's what I think.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Vanessa. We're going to jump into a demonstration of the Dan Bao and Dan Tran. And so before we jump in right away, I would love to hear from you. When audiences hear the Dan Bao or the Dan Tran for the first time, what do you hope we all experience? I got a chance to listen to this, so I'm going to leave myself out of it. But what do you hope we hear?
I think that music and sounds reach and touch people differently. It can bring the memory. It can open new windows. Whatever it is, I think we are all in here for the enjoyment, for the exploration, for the curiosity. And if you want to know more, you will head out to find more ways to learn about it.
Fantastic, wonderful. Please join us in welcoming Brendan McDonald to the stage for a demonstration of these instruments. Please.
Okay, yeah. So the first instrument that I want to share with all of you is my Vietnamese Diane Tran. If you know, then this Diane Tran is from Vietnam, but it also has brother and sisters, which is the Japanese koto, the Chinese gucheng, and the Korean kayagum. And Vietnamese Diane Trans are just 4 brothers and sisters, just like us, children from the same family, but when we grow up and then we go to different states or even different country to study, then we eventually stay there and then we adapt the culture. We become a part of the place that we are at. So the Vietnamese Diane Tran, when it arrived to Vietnam, then it speaks Vietnamese language because it gets influence from the culture and everything. Now, what I tell you that why the instrument speaks the language, because our language has 6 different tones. So our language, it's very important that the music reflects the change in the tone of our language. We have words, many words that spell exactly the same, but then if you just change the tone, you can, instead of calling mother, it could change into a horse. And instead of getting a bowl of noodles, you would politely ask for a bowl of mud. So that is very important. So that's why the Vietnamese traditional music lies a lot on the left hand of the person who plays it. So I would invite you to listen to this instrument and pay attention to the left hand of how I use my left hand to create the different vibration, different technique in my left hand. And it is very important too that our music have 3 main regions, North, Central, and South. Each region has a different kind of moods that you could see. In the North, if you ever visit Vietnam, you will see that the people in the North tend to not talking directly. They just beat around the bushes. And that is a tradition. So the music also more calm and not showing so much about the excitement, about the feeling. And then music from central Vietnam, where we have the last king and queen, so it's very slow and peaceful and never have like peak and something like that. Whereas music from south of Vietnam is like pouring out with the emotion. So I will just keep my instrument tuned the same way, and I play 3 different kinds of music. I will tell you which one is which, and then you can see here's the difference. So this is music from north of Vietnam. Now, with the same tuning, I'm going to play another short overture, but the way that I have to do the vibrato is very different, that I have to do very slow because everything in central Vietnam very slow and it's just so peaceful, but that is just the culture in there. Now, another music from south of Vietnam, you will see that a lot of interval chanting and very expressive in a way. Thank you. And before I move to the next instruments, I want to share with you one song that taught by my late masters. And with this is my own version to honor him, and also it helped me to win the national championship title for my instruments. Thank you. How many of you have seen the instrument? Oh, that's good, because I can say whatever. No, I'm kidding. This is my Vietnamese đàn bow. It has only one string, and the string is very thin that you may not even see it up close. I do have a string. I don't make magic. So it's in the past, the instrument was invented in 9th century when we didn't have, it's very simple with the bamboo trunk and a big dry gourd here, and the instrument's very soft-spoken. But then the instrument speaks the human voice. It's so nice that at first it wasn't accepted into the court music. The king and queen said that, no, this instrument was invented by very low-class people. So it wasn't accepted, but the instrument had such a distinctive voice that eventually it was accepted into the court music and everyone loved it. So the instrument is so well loved by everyone, but it's soft-spoken. When you listen to it, you have to sit around it, and even our parents had the saying, say that, roughly translate, if you are a girl, you should not listen to the person who plays the instrument, mainly men as before, because you will fall in love with that person. Yeah, so I say that, well, I love the instrument, but I will learn how to play instrument and reverse the cycle. So then after the World War II, we got the electronic compartment from, after the war, so that we start to build it into with the electronic, like the speaker that as you see now, so that we can share with more people like in this setting today. So then now this instrument becomes completely 100% electronic instrument. And I will share with you a little bit, a short sound of the music from central Vietnam as well, so that you can get some feeling about the instrument and the sound a bit. Thank you. So like I already shared with all of you before that I I find my mission to share the differences and to bring our instruments and our music genre closer to other people's words and music genres. And from even the instruments that you see, 2 instruments that you see today, I redesigned it so that I can play music like Huang Ruo's music and many other music, beautiful music that we have in the West. But then I reimage it so that it's somehow still I can express my feeling. So the next piece I would like to share with you is music from Eric Satie. And I have a very super talented pianist, Brandon Shapiro, with me. And we will share with you this piece. Can I have C? Now we want to share one more song, and if you know the song, please join us. I think that you will like it. Okay. And then just join us, okay? Yeah. Just thumbs up it if you can.
Brendan Shapiro, everyone. Thank you, Vanessa, so much for giving that lovely and invigorating demonstration. We're excited to welcome to the stage Director Richard Gammon. Please, Vanessa, please join us back over here. Director Richard Gammon to the stage. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please have a seat. I'm excited to talk about Bound with you, Richard, and I also want to sort of recognize Huang Ruo in the audience, who wrote the book alongside Bao-Long Chu, who wrote the libretto. And so, Richard, for audiences who are new to Bound, how would you introduce the opera?
Oh, I think so many people will be new to this opera. I did mention this to a friend earlier, and we were talking about this, and he suggested that imagine that you were thrown in jail for a reason that is not terribly valid. How would you feel about that, knowing that you did not deserve to be there? And now picture yourself when you were 17, and that happened. You're working 2 jobs. And that happened. You're in school, and that happened. Your parents are divorced, and that happened. You are taking care of your family, and that happened. And that's what Bound is about. I also say for other people, it's a very concentrated narrative in 60 minutes with no intermission, sung primarily in English, but get super titles, and with an amazing score and an amazing guest artist.
Oh, so I want to ask you, obviously it's an incredible story. Its themes are quite relevant. What drew you to this story as a director?
A lot of things drew me to the story. I will say also the music drew me to have an Eastern and a Western telling, to have two voices that create a stronger voice together. And I would say it's the same thing about the opera, that the character is Asian American. It is an American story, and I identify with it quite personally as an Asian American.
Absolutely. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Again, I mean, my mother was an immigrant. My mother worked 2 jobs. We don't have the legacy of family, which is something that Diane says. Yeah, so it's quite a bit of a mirror to, I think, my own story, but also many, many, many Asian Americans.
Absolutely. I think it, as a story that not only speaks to Asian Americans, but about family, duty, pressure, survival, and dreams, I think all of us, can speak to that in our own experiences. How do you find that this piece holds both specificity and universality?
Yes, I mean, I don't think the piece is only for Asians or Asian Americans. Actually, I just did this piece a few months ago in Anchorage, and the audience was not primarily Asian. And we had one talkback that lasted about an hour and a half. And people in the audience could not stop talking about their own experiences, where they had come from. A lot of teachers were talking in the audience about how they're like, oh, we recognize that, Diane is one of our students. Like we see that every day, and what can we do about it? How can we help? I think recognition that happens is probably the strongest thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And obviously, we're so thrilled that Vanessa has come out for this. How does Vanessa's presence and musicianship, in your opinion, shape the production?
She's the heart. She's the heart of the show. We have a fantastic cast. We're lucky to have Lance Inouye here. To have is a bit of a miracle. So we're very excited about that. But the piece does not work if you only have one side of the equation for Diane. It doesn't make sense. She's not whole. Because Vanessa is here, she makes her whole.
And how does the incorporation of traditional Vietnamese instruments add to that wholeness?
We had a dress rehearsal the other night, and I told the actor that's playing Khan, the mother, when she first comes out on stage, she hears Vanessa. She hears Vanessa's voice. And I said, that is the voice of your ancestors. And it's without her, without that, this story cannot be allowed to be told yet. It's kept so close, it's kept secret that we're given access to this.
I think that sort of builds into this sort of idea of connection that is present throughout the piece, and sort of seeking connection and having these two worlds collide, I think, is a beautiful way to express that. I'm very excited to have a demonstration of the opera this evening. And so please, we're excited to sort of explore that first aria from the show. Can you tell us a little bit about it? Any context that you might want to offer our audience?
I'll give you a little bit of context, but not too much, so you come. Yes, Diane's first aria is when we just discover her in jail, and I told the actor, imagine that someone has just taken you and put you into your cell and slammed the door, and here we go. And that's the story. In our production, my team and I, we've been lucky enough to give a little bit of backstory for the piece. So we have a little bit of actual television footage that explains what truancy is, what this law is, and who Diane is before we enter the story. So there's a little bit of information that we have for this very condensed narrative. But here, you'll see not only will you receive information from her, but you will see her psychological state, hopefully.
Thank you so much. And so, this is the first aria from Bound with music by Huang Ruo, libretto by Bao-Long Chu, and performed by Shinran Du, and Brendan Shapiro again on piano, and Vanessa again on the instruments. And conducted by Lance Inoue, of course.
From another country.
Thank you so much, Lance. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Thank you so much, Brendan. Thank you so much, Shinru.